Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, this is Boisterous coming to you with some Diamond League destruction out of the map Overgrowth LE. Spotting up here in the top right-hand corner, we have size HloKeY, and down here in the bottom left-hand corner, we have Tact X's Dynge. And thank you, Dynge, for having an actual name, unlike you, HloKeY. Really, I don't HloKeY, HKY, because those are the capitalized ones. I don't know what to do with this, so I'm gonna call him Hello Kitty. Alright, so anyway, HloKeY is up here in the top right hand corner, playing Terran. Dynge down here in the bottom left, playing Terran. So TBT, a matchup that I, of course, have very, very deep knowledge about. Yeah, without a question. Definitely. I know everything about TBT. I know you build little marine guys and then they attack each other. That's how StarCraft works, right, guys? Anyone? Bueller, please? I need help. Anyway, we have Dynge building up his first supply depot, pretty much mirroring the plays on each side. HloKeY, of course, is going to fill that supply depot with lots of catnip, because that's just how he rolls. That's just the way it goes. It looks like we have an extremely early gas out of actually both players right now, which I should probably know because the name of the replay was Early Gas Does Damage. So, yeah, I'm guessing we're going to see some level of either Reaper play or very fast factory play. Actually, no, this is definitely a factory play. This refinery is way too early to be made for Reapers. This is so going to be a fast factory play for both players, and I'm actually very excited. I wonder if it's just going to be straight Hellions from both players, or if one of them is going to try to get a Siege Tank Rush off. I doubt it's going to be Siege Tank Rush. It's probably just going to be Hellions, because let's be honest, Siege Tanks are way worse than Hellions at the current moment. So, yeah, I'm actually kind of excited. It might be Hellion drops as well, but I kind of doubt that one. I really think it's just going to be a straight-up Hellion drive, especially if they get some scouting off and realize that the other player is doing the exact same thing, because it's just going to be extremely important to be the first player to get damage in this way. And goddamn, these builds are literally mirrors of each other right now. Like, they have the same amount of gas, exactly. It looks like HloKeY's a little ahead. Actually, no, not anymore. They are tied on gas. HloKeY is still a little ahead if you count mineral count. But it doesn't really matter that much. That's like 15 minerals. It looks like we are going to have both factories coming up. Both orbital commands finishing up. The extra supply depots taking off. We have some marines coming out for both players. I don't know. I think HloKeY, he might stop after this marine. They're both probably going to stop after this marine, actually, and start building a reactor for their factories. They definitely should be building an add-on for their factories, unless they're just going to go literally straight into starport production, which Dynge actually might. He is getting that second refinery, and it is going to be straight into starport. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see some sort of Banshee rush coming out here, but he really needs an add-on for a Banshee rush. There we go, and it is going to be a tech lab, so it is most certainly going to be a Banshee rush. On the other side of the coin, we have the Hellions starting to crank out, and they are going to be heading out across the map. And it looks like HloKeY might be going for a medevac drop. Maybe his starport is definitely very early. And it is certainly not going to be Banshees, because he does not have the gas for Banshees. Whereas on the other side, we have Dynge definitely going for Banshees at this point, like without a doubt. He's going to lift up the starport right away, drop it right onto that tech lab, and we are going to see the Banshees start to crank out from him. And that's going to be very dangerous, especially if you can manage to keep it a secret. It looks like this Hellion is going to try to do something, but I'm not sure. It's going to be rough to try to get this Hellion past these 4 Marines. Although if he really wants to, he can get up to the top of that ramp and peek around and see this starport. And if he manages to catch that, that's going to be huge for knowing what he should be preparing for. It looks like HloKeY already has the engineering bay on the way. He has that tech lab coming down, so we might be seeing. I don't know. This is really weird. I don't know what the tech lab's point is. He's probably going to lift up and switch the starport for it, but it is super late in the game to start Banshee production, and we already have a full medevac on the way, so I don't know quite what the point of that would be, kind of, you know? It looks like we are going to have the barracks bailing, and is going to be going right onto that reactor to get those double marine productions underway. And that's, I don't know, this is a kind of small amount of marines. He's going to really have to get over to this medevac extremely fast, because if he lets even half of these units unload, he is never going to be able to finish it. It looks like the drop is going down, and it's a little bit too late of a reaction for Dynge, but they're going down right in the bay, and oh my god! Oh, the Widowmine doing so much damage, but it looks like the Widowmine actually did not really manage to kill off any SCVs. It weakened a whole ton of them, but the target fire was not there, and the Widowmine is going to be done. It looks like the Banshee from the other side is going to be doing some damage here. It is at the very least going to stop gas mining for the Red Terran player, and he might be able to come in here and kind of get some shots off onto the SCV numbers, and there we go. He gets 2 SCV kills so far. It looks like he's going to continue to try to get Banshee kills. There is, of course, no detection really, other than this missile turret. He has a Banshee of his own on the way, but I'm actually a little bit surprised that he doesn't just try to, you know, cancel that and go right into a Raven so that he can get, you know, permanent mobile detection. It looks like we are going to have the Banshee going down to the missile turret, and that is a huge misstep for Dynge. HloKeY, he might survive this yet, but he is going to have a really hard time doing damage to Dynge's army because he does have this Raven up, he does have a Viking up now, and he has a lot of Marines. These Banshee plays are going to get shut down right away. It looks like we are going to have reasonably even footing. Of course, HloKeY's in a much better spot. He does have that command center already finished. Dynge is actually, he has a command center finished, but it's not really pumping anything out. It's not doing anything. He kind of needs that command center to land on the low ground soon. Otherwise, he's going to start getting into a little bit of a trouble situation, unless he really wants to do some pressure, which, I don't know, I guess he could pull off. There aren't a whole ton of Marines here, and they aren't getting cranked out at a very fast speed. If he does a push out here, he could do a little bit of damage, or even a lot of damage to HloKeY, honestly. But it looks like we are going to have continual Vikings getting pumped out here, which will play very good against this Banshee play. It's going to be actually extremely difficult for these Banshees to really get any damage done at all. It looks like one Marine is going to be sacrificed down here to the Hellion gods. He's going to try... Oh, no. Nope, they're just going to pass each other peacefully. No, the Hellion, Marine. No, he was leaving you in peace, Hellion. You monster. You monster. He roasty toasted that Marine for no reason other than the fact that, you know, they're opposing sides of a war that has probably gone on since before their time, and their parents started it and their grandparents started it before them, and ever since he was a wee lad, he's heard of the tales of the Blue Marines always having to fight against the Red Hellions, and the Red Hellions always trying to burn them, but then that pack of Blue Marines will come down and avenge them, and that was the weirdest tangent I've ever gone on. But anyway, looks like we are gonna have a couple of tanks pumped out for Dynge. He has siege mode ready. He's ready to go. I just realized I said he had siege mode ready, even though siege mode was removed in Heart of the Swarm? Yeah, so much casting. Alright, so anyway, we are going to have more siege tanks actually pouring out for our blue Terran player. And HloKeY, he's going to have to come up with a response to this at some point. It looks like that response is not going to be Banshees, because these Banshees are just going to get face rolled whenever they step onto the field. We do have 3 siege tanks up at this point. And I don't know what his plan's going to be here. The only thing that he has over Dynge is the fact that Dynge doesn't have medevacs. Like, he hasn't even started to think about cranking out medevacs, which is a little bit silly. He kind of needs them. They're kind of important in the Terran army. I don't really know what his plan is. HloKeY, of course, his economy is much better. 13 SCVs over his opponent. But the big thing is that, I mean, the army from Dynge is just so much more massive. Like, if we see this, that is 29 army supply for HloKeY versus the 42 from Dynge. Now 28 for HloKeY versus 42 from Dynge. And that is a heavy difference as far as army count goes, especially when you consider that so much of that army is in the super efficient siege tanks. Like, siege tanks, if they get into siege mode, will just wreck shop. It looks like we are going to have a siege tank of HloKeY's own stepping forward here and getting a couple of shells off. But the air control is almost certainly going to go the way of Dynge, and that air control is crazy huge as far as how important it goes. He will be able to, if he does this very carefully, he'll be able to peek units into that little line right there and get a big siege off on the siege tank. If he actually managed to take down that siege tank, he might be able to force a push through. The Raven will have to get a really nice couple of sentry turrets off, but it looks like he is going to just be pulling back, which isn't a terrible idea in and of itself. The only issue is that the longer that he abstains from attacking, the closer the game's going to get, because right now Dynge is in a pretty good situation as far as army supply goes. It's still not a good enough situation to really attack headlong into siege tanks, but it's not a terrible situation. But as this game goes on and this economy differential becomes even larger, HloKeY is going to be in a very good spot to actually take down Dynge really without an issue. I mean, Dynge he's patiently waiting here, but the army supply count, it's starting to swing in HloKeY's favor, and that's the scary part. And it looks like we are going to have HloKeY planning a move out of his own. This is definitely the time to move out. He might run headlong into the army of Dynge. Oh, but Dynge, he's swinging around. It looks like he has been scouted at this point, which is super dangerous. He did not really want to get scouted. The siege tank line is going to get set up here right outside the third base. And it looks like HloKeY, he's going to be pulling back. He's going to be continuously trying to... What? Did a siege tank just explode right there? Wait, what? Alright, I'm gonna have to go back and analyze that one. But anyway, it looks like we are going to have the siege tanks sieging up and doing so much damage. Oh my god, so much damage. The Seeker missiles, they are on the Marines, and the Seeker missiles, they are going to hit the Marines for a lot of damage. It looks like we do have a nice medevac pickup, but the elevator into the base for Dynge is just too effective, and it looks like he is going to have to pull back eventually. And actually, that wasn't effective at all. He gets completely cleaned up. The army of Dynge is still fairly massive, though, and he will be able to pull back and save a couple of medevacs, which is nice. It's good to save those very, very important units, but he is still down as far as production goes. I mean, he can't compete with the amount of workers. Oh wait, yeah, he can't compete with the amount of workers that HloKeY has. That 64 to 48 SCVs is a huge swing, and he's just going to be digging himself out of a hole this entire game if he doesn't get a super effective fight right here. And it looks like he's going to be going for one. Maybe, I don't know. This is still super awkward. He definitely needs to pull his entire army. He can't live with only half of his army this time. If he wants to go for something aggressive here, he has to have everything with it, especially considering the 4 siege tanks from HloKeY. And oh, it looks like we have the siege from Dynge going up first, and we have that squadron of Marines getting absolutely blasted out of the sky. But the 4 siege tanks, they go down, 2 go down. Oh, the last one is gonna fall, and it looks like the siege tanks from Dynge might be able to stand here. Maybe. Oh god, that's so close. If those Marines ran into melee range, they would absolutely be alive here. The siege tank is gonna go down, but there is another one following it up. And the single target DPS from the siege tank is just too much. The Marines are going to have to fall back. They're going to have to run. The medevac count from HloKeY there was just a little bit too small. And it looks like we are going to have HloKeY continuing to push forward. He's posturing. He's trying to survive here. He lost 4 siege tanks there, which was huge for Dynge. Dynge might be able to actually push through and do some damage here. And he has a massive swell of Marines coming to help him establish that fact. It looks like we are going to have the stim upcoming. He needs to get rid of these siege tanks as fast as possible. He can't let them get off more than 1 shot each. Looks like we have the second squad of Marines moving forward. They take out the siege tank, and HloKeY calls the GG. Beautifully played by Dynge. Amazing. That last engagement, just those last series of engagements were all perfectly played. You really got to see his Marines just do a ton of damage to the siege tanks. So anyway, guys, if you want more Boisterous action, head on over to youtube.com/user/boisteroussc2. If you want your games casted, and I would love to cast them, send them on into boisteroussc2@gmail.com. Otherwise, I'm probably going to just pull them from like /r/castit, because apparently I have a star on that subreddit from that game I did with Feardragon, where we both casted as an Overlord and a Protoss, and that was super silly. I loved that game so much. So if you guys ever want to check that one out, I'm probably going to post it in the description of the video below. Otherwise, I think it's called Feardragon and Boisterous Go Native Episode 1. There will never be another episode of that. I couldn't recover my voice for like 3 weeks. But anyway, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @BoisterousSC2. If you want to follow me at Twitch, it's twitch.tv/BoisterousSC2. But school internet's probably going to limit how much I can use that. So anyway, if you want to know what happened to that siege tank, there's probably going to be something after this, because I swear to God a siege tank blew up in the middle of the game and it confused the shit out of me. So anyway, guys, this is Boisterous, signing out.